No pain and no gain. There's a title at stake now on BBC One as the quest begins to find the world's strongest man, 2002.
For centuries, men have sailed the Malacca Straits off Malaysia, seeking to become the most powerful in Southeast Asia. But now there's a whole new battle for supremacy. The Metrex Trophy for the world's strongest man will be contested this year in Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia. And these are the Petronas Towers, the tallest buildings on Earth, 88 stories high, 452 metres reaching into the sky. The ultimate symbol of Malaysia's surge to economic prosperity in Southeast Asia. In this city, right here, right now, size is everything. One of the annual highlights of the Malay sporting calendar is a race up the KL Tower. 421 metres from bottom to top, 1,850 steps, and the winner usually does it in around 10 minutes. But down amongst the urban, sprawling mass of Kuala Lumpur are 30 men for whom strength and not speed is the key. From Austria to Australia they've come, from Hawaii to Iceland, in search of the biggest prize in strongman sport. As ever, 5 heats of 6 athletes, the top 2 in each to go through to the final. And let's now meet the first 6 contestants from Heat 1.
Magnus Samuelsson, Sweden, 32 years old, 2 meters tall, 150 kilos.
Derek Boyer from Australia, 33 years old, 192 centimeters tall, 140 kilos.
Anne Minkwitz, Denmark, 32 years, 199 centimeters, 142 kilos.
Nigel Moss, South Africa, 34 years old, 1.91 meters, 123 kilos.
Steve Currick, Pennsylvania, USA, 29 years old, 6 foot 2 inches tall, 143 kilos.
Gregor Edmonds, Scotland, 25 years of age, 194 centimeters tall, 120 kilos.
This is Merdeka Square, and it was here 45 years ago that Malaysia ended its links with its colonial past and declared independence. And it's here that we start Heat 3 with the carry and drag. Carry those 2 anvils, 120 kilograms each, that's 265 pounds. Halfway, put them down, drag this huge anchor, 265 kilograms, that's 660 pounds, all the way to the end of the course. Now for Gregor Edmonds, it's his first World's Strongest Man as a competitor, but your dad's been running this event for years, so what sort of inside information have you got on what it takes to be a strong man?
Well, as you say, I've seen a lot of it done over the past few years, and as you say, this is now World's, not Britain's, so it's a lot harder. So I'm hoping I can do as good as I did at the British. It's as good as I can do.
Well, you were runner-up there. Realistically, what are your hopes here, do you think?
Realistically, it's the World's. It's my first one. Who knows what can happen? Well, I think breakfast is not quite settled, so nerves are going now. But whether it's the world's strongest or Scotland's strongest, or even smaller competitions, the feeling's the same. You just get on with it and do your best.
So it all starts here. Describing the action as ever, Paul Dickinson.
It's early in the morning here, but the temperature's zooming up towards the 40s. And the first competitor, formerly of Fiji, now representing Australia, Derek Boyer, unbeaten for 4 years in his native Australia. The newcomer now, Nigel Moss from South Africa, the giant policeman from Pretoria. Good moment for him as well. And Gregor Edmonds, his father, standing behind. Dougie Edmonds, the referee. But Gregor Edmonds representing Scotland. Now the giant Magnus Samuelsson, the former champion, but nursing a big tear in his bicep.
Yeah!
But psyched up as always, going to be tough to beat. René Minkvist, a former finalist in World's Strongest Man, representing Denmark. And finally, another newcomer from the United States, the US champion this year, Steve Kirrett. He didn't win an event in the US Championships, but he was so consistent. Well, I just wonder how they're going to get on. These giant anvils, almost the equivalent of a small motorcycle carried in each arm halfway down the course. So here we go, the very first event in this year's World's Strongest Man. And Samuelsson is off to a flyer. What a start for the giant Swede. Looking for Gregor Edmonds, he's struggling just a little bit at the moment. Coming through into about 4th place, next to Samuelsson, and it's Samuelsson who's away. Almost down and out there, the Swede. And coming up fast is René Minkvist. Slow and steady for Gregor Edmonds on this side. Steve Kirrett, the newcomer from the United States, being overtaken by Minkvist, and on the far side, Boyer's going well. But Samuelsson, all eyes on the former champion. He's got a couple of meters to go. That anchor has to cross the line. The anchor and chain weighing a massive 285 kilos, and Samuelsson wins the opening event. There's a 75-second time limit on this. The clock ticking away. Samuelsson just walks away. So dominant in this opening event. Can Edmonds come through? On this side, Minkvist. On the far side, Boyer. That's the American Kirrett. Still big points to be won and lost. And there's the whistle. I think Gregor Edmonds in about 3rd or 4th place. But no doubt about the winner, Samuelsson, who's absolutely down and out. Phenomenal performance, but the heat taking its toll, not just on Edmonds, but on everybody else. René Minkvist absolutely flat out, finding it difficult to even stand. I think he finished in 2nd place. What a start to this year's competition, no doubt about the winner. But what about the rest?
How you doing?
I think I'll live. Just.
How hard was that?
That's a big shock to the system. Always is, first event, you don't realise how heavy things are until suddenly you got to do it.
But 3rd, happy with that?
Well, I got 4th in the British, so that should be good, eh? I'm happy. It was one of my weaker events, so 3rd can't be bad. So I can really feel it now. My legs were totally gone. Couldn't breathe, so I was just looking. I know Magnus was winning, but I was looking for 2nd place. Oh, I'm happy. That's the worst one.
Well, boy, was it hard. Magnus may have won it, but he wasn't too forthcoming in the immediate aftermath. Here's confirmation that it was 6 points for the Swede, Minkvist 2nd, and a good start for Gregor Edmonds. It took 10 minutes or so for Samuelsson to come up with his post-race thoughts.
It surprised me that the drag was so difficult and so hard, but end of the day I won it, so I'm pleased.
And you know, you're like a fixture in this competition. Every year, here you are, year on year on year. How would you assess your form this year compared to last? Because you've had a lot of injuries, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been lucky. Through my career, I always stayed in one piece. 5 months ago, I pulled my bicep off and had to reattach it. And everybody said I was over and out for a long time. So I just have to prove them wrong. So for the first time, I haven't really thought as much about how this contest will do. I'm just here to prove everybody that I'm not dead yet. And I think this will get them the message.
44 degrees and rising. Close your eyes, you could almost be in Scotland. And this next event will be more at home in Kirkcaldy or Kilmarnock than it would in Kuala Lumpur, because it's taken straight out of the Highland Games, making its debut in World's Strongest Man, the weight throw. Now, Gregor, you've been brought up with this kind of event, so tell us, what's the secret to this?
It's going from the biggest muscles, which is in your bottom and legs, and you pull with them. The weight comes up, up, up. You pull like a power clean, but you keep pulling until it's fingertips, smallest muscles, the fast ones, you let it go.
Well, this should be a demonstration at the opening height for Gregor Edmonds. Certainly, in terms of experience, he could do very, very well here. 4 meters 10, just a shade over 13 feet. And if you can imagine going on holiday with a 25 kilogram suitcase, that's the weight that goes over. And that was a superb demonstration. Good start by the Scot. Terrific technique.
Well, this was the opening height, and clearly they don't do this sort of thing too often in Fiji or Australia. Because for Derek Boyer, a real veteran of World's Strongest Man for many years, it was a height too far. Maybe they don't do it too often on the high felt either. At 4 meters 50, it was the end for the South African.
I see the guys who have done it before. They know the technique. There's a secret to everything we do, and they know the secret, I don't, but I'll find it out some other time and I'll come back and give them a hiding.
Magnus Samuelsson may have won the first event, and he was optimistic about this one until at 4 meters 70 it was the end for the Swede. Gregor Edmonds, perhaps surprisingly, got to 4 meters 80 and then called it quits. But on dark nights in Pennsylvania, they love nothing more than throwing huge weights over bars. Steve Kirrett, tremendously impressive there, and René Minkvits at 4 meters 90, just too easy for him. So the main points in event 2 still up for grabs.
So just 2 competitors left now. This is Kirrett of the United States of America, 16 feet 4. You will understand that better than 5 meters. This is a big height for both men left in, and that's a first failure for the American. 2 attempts allowed. He's got to go straight back in. Now then, a long, steady swing. Then the giant lift by the legs and the back, and finally by the arms and shoulders. Oh, that's even worse. So now he has to wait for René Minkvist, the only competitor left in who can take maximum points. So here is Minkvits of Denmark, the former finalist. Nobody has managed to negotiate this height of 5 meters. It's a prodigious height, 25 kilograms the weight. It looks small, but believe me, it's heavy. But that is good, he's done it! Maximum points for Denmark. And another third place for Gregor Edmonds, although I think Gregor will be a little bit disappointed with his height. He's done better than that. But look at this, the victory dance now, and maximum points for Minkvits.
So a good win for the Great Dane, the American in second. Gregor Edmonds third place once again, but for Derek Boyer, no points at all. He failed to clear a single height, and he and Nigel Moss finding themselves tailed off a bit. With 4 in contention though, this could be a very interesting heat.
The pulse of one of Kuala Lumpur's busiest streets beating a little bit slower at the moment because they've closed the main road to allow the Fingals Fingers to take place. 5 huge rods of iron weighing between 200 and 300 kilograms to be lifted up and pushed over as quickly as possible. Now this looks different this year from previous times because the 2 guys are going to go alongside each other, so it's a race from start to finish.
There's the new course layout at Bintang Walk in downtown KL. And there is René Minkvits alongside Steve Kirrett of the United States of America. So let's have a look at the technique. Up to the chest, and then straight arms, a straight body, and you've got to try and keep the legs straight as well, as Minkvist just goes into the lead. Of course, as fatigue sets in, the technique is going to falter, that's for sure. 2 over each, and going well, but it's still Minkvits just in the lead by about half a second on that last one. And with number 3. This next one, 275 kilos, that's over 500 pounds. So here we go, it's neck and neck all the way, but both men struggling just a wee bit. We've seen plenty of competitors in the past go 5 and complete the course, but not this time. And I think these two guys will be disappointed.
But both got their 3 fingers up in under 30 seconds, which was more than Derek Boyer could manage. And Nigel Moss of South Africa was even slower with his 3.
Well, what a head-to-head now for Gregor Edmonds up against the former champion. And when Magnus Samuelsson hasn't won a final, he's always been so close. He's one of the most experienced competitors in the world, but the Scot has gone into the lead. What a good start by Gregor. Well, it's often said that in this event, if you're tall, it's an advantage. Samuelsson a shade taller than Gregor Edmonds, who's over 6 feet 4 inches. And now Samuelsson's coming back. They've both done 3. They're certainly faster than either Kirit or Mingqvist. This is a fantastic head-to-head, but the Scot just blowing and puffing at the moment. Can he do 5? Samuelsson looks as though he could be heading for victory once again. And Samuelsson has done it. It looks so easy, but what a performance by Gregor Edmonds as well. He's going to pick up a 2nd place. Tremendous points.
But you were determined not to get beaten by him, weren't you?
Once I get going, and I felt that I had no problem with it, I gave it my all, and luckily I catched him in the end. But Gregor is very good on this, so I'm pleased with my performance.
And are you pleased with yours?
Of course. To be neck and neck and actually in front at one stage of this man's quite something, injury or not. I'm happy with that, of course I am.
So Samuelsson with the aid of a cold sponge at the end, looking like the champion he once was, and Gregor Edmonds showing why he is Scotland's strongest man, and Gregor now just 2 points behind the joint leaders. Now, contrary to what you might think, this is not just all about brawn, there's some brain in there too.
There's a lot of talking and talking each other down, hyping each other up. You know, there's a lot of mind games going as well, but I think I'm quite good at them.
The presidential palace in Putrajaya, the centrepiece of what will be the most modern city in the world when it's completed in 2010, housing 350,000 people. The international airport's over there, the Formula One racetrack over there. But eat your heart out, Schumacher and Barrichello. Anybody can drive a car up a hill, but how many people do you know who can pull one up one?
Well, Derek Boyer could. He got to the end of the course in 28.01 seconds, but it was too much for Nigel Moss, who only made it as far as 22.55 metres.
What a performance it's been so far by Gregor. He's in 3rd place, behind Magnus Samuelsson and René Mingqvist. But he's up against Steve Kirit in this heat. Well, 1,500 kilograms the car weighs. It looks pretty easy when they get started, but then it gets so hard after about 10 metres when they have to start going uphill. And this is a real sprint by Gregor. Now the slope kicks in. You've got to stay low. You've got to keep pulling with the arms, driving with the legs. And the American is gaining on the Scot just a little bit. Can he keep it going? Can he keep the time going? Yes, he can! That is a good time by Gregor Edmonds, 22.8 seconds. And Steve Kirit stops at 26.5. Well done to both of them.
Well, you've put the pressure on, haven't you?
I hope so. I hope that's good enough.
Last 10 metres, how hard was that?
It was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. I'm used to pulling trucks, and I'm used to pushing my father's trucks at his old dairy, because they weren't the best fleet of trucks, so I find it quite easy.
Well, I wonder how these two guys will find it. Magnus Samuelsson on this side, nearest the camera. That's Mingqvist. And Samuelsson and Mingqvist locked together on 15 points. And look at this, they're sprinting away. Now the cars start to go uphill, but this is still fantastic stuff. The giant arms of Samuelsson. But can he beat the Dane? It's going to be so close. Right at the finish, Mingqvist just gets it. Oh, that was fantastic. And they're both under 20 seconds, and that means Edmonds finishes third.
That was very important for you because Gregor was getting a little bit close, wasn't he?
Too close. But now I think I have 4 points or something. It's nice.
A contented smile for the Dane, a second victory for him. Samuelsson in second place, Edmonds in third, and what that means is the three of them are pulling clear of the rest. Gregor is snapping at the Swede's heels. Here's the old stager to sum up the state of play with 2 events to go.
3 points is a lot of points if everything goes well. But then again, if you do a bad mistake, 3 points is nothing.
The British motorcycle legend Carl Fogarty launches his Petronas team this year, so fittingly, beneath the Petronas towers in a country obsessed by motorsport, 2 motorbikes could well determine who gets to the final of this year's World's Strongest Man. It's the Basque Circle. The bikes weigh 300 kilograms, that's 660 pounds, and they have to be carried on the forearms as often as possible around this circle. And for Gregor Edmonds, this really is a must-win event, isn't it?
Yep, if I stand any chance of the final, I've got to win this one. So, all guns blazing. I need to do it now.
Well, even in the stifling heat, all the contestants managed to take those bikes a pretty reasonable distance. First of all Boyer, then Moss, and Steve Kirrett, look at the pain on his face, the best to date, 83.9 metres.
Well, they do say one of the things that's required to get through to the final is consistency, and when you look at Gregor's performances so far, 3 third places and a second, he's still there, but he could do with a victory. So 6 feet 4.5, knocking on the door of 20 stones in body weight. It's his father, Dougie Edmonds, who says, get ready and lift, and away we go. 30 metres around, and it's a great target that's been set by the American Steve Kirrett. Those 2 mopeds weighing in at 300 kilograms. 30 metres gone. Good speed. It's to be steady, not fast. That's the secret. Jamie Reeves standing in the background there, former world's strongest man, keeping a watchful eye on Gregor Edmonds, who's trained so hard as he goes past the 60-metre mark. And this is coming up towards the lead. The Scot has done it. He's in the lead now. 90 metres gone. He's got to put as much distance between himself and that mark as possible. We've still got Samuelsson and Minkvits to go. This is fantastic. Over 100 metres. Brilliant stuff by Gregor Edmonds. 110 metres, but he's got to wait now. And what a crucial wait it might be.
Samuelsson's very good at this, so I hope that's rubbed him up the wrong way. I hope it does something to his confidence.
Well, it certainly might, having seen that performance by Gregor Edmonds. But what about this bicep tear that Magnus Samuelsson reportedly had 4 months ago? How will that affect his performance here? The Swedish newspapers almost wrote off his chances before he even got here. So he's determined to show them he's still in shape and he's still one of the best. Looking a little bit unsteady as Samuelsson, but it's good speed, a little bit faster than Edmonds. But speed is not important. He's got that plastic strip across his nose. It's supposed to help the breathing. And he's coming up towards 3 revolutions now, so still looking pretty good. Oh, he's struggling a bit at the moment. He's down. So he's in second place, just ahead of Steve Kirrett. But Edmonds still a long way in the lead. 1 competitor to go.
I'm safe today if I can get 1 third and 1 second place. And this is very dangerous for my bicep. So I can fight on maybe for another lap or so, but then I have to do all this stuff. And then you over-rotate the bicep and make the risk for injury sky high at this day. So another time, another place, and I will show them.
All eyes now on the Dane. But can he be the great Dane, René Minkvits? The only guy who can separate Gregor Edmonds from this maximum points in the penultimate event.
Lift and go!
Lift and go, says referee Dougie Edmonds. I wonder if secretly he's hoping Mink Witz will not be able to go 3 and a bit times round. He's looking good for 30 metres though. That's no problem at all. 30 metres gone, 1 revolution. Needs 2.5 more to go into the lead. Gregor Edmonds pacing around in the background, watching this intently, but Mink Witz, I think, is he beginning to struggle? There's certainly stress in those eyes, and in the face, he's slowing dramatically. Surely this is victory for Scotland. Oh, this is dramatic. Mink Witz is going to finish in last place. I can't believe it. Victory for Scotland, a dramatic turnaround in form in this second to last event.
Gregor Edmonds said he had to win that, and he did just that, emphatically too, 25 metres clear of the rest. But Mink Witz coming last means suddenly Edmonds is in with a great chance of making it to the final. Mink Witz, from appearing home and dry, now under pressure.
But no excuse, he was the best and he won, that's okay. But we still have one more event to go, so maybe if I'm lucky.
How do you view the stones now against Gregor?
I don't know how he is, but sometimes I'm really good, sometimes I'm not so good. So I hope I'm really good today.
Can you get 5 up?
I will do everything. It's win or die.
Win or die in the mother, or should that be the daddy of all strongman events? The 5 stones to be placed on the wall. The last one, 160 kilograms, will be crucial. You'd expect nothing less of Magnus Samuelsson, a former world's strongest man. He got all 5 stones up onto the wall in a time just over 30 seconds. A real show of strength. He's into the final, but the big question, who'd join him there?
Well, the arithmetic is very simple here. Gregor Edmonds on the left. If he beats René Mink Witz, the Scot is through to the final. It's as simple as that. I tell you what, the atmosphere here is unbelievable. Mink Witz has got a chance. Edmonds, in his first ever World's Strongest Man competition, has got a chance. But which one has got the bottle? Which one has got the technique? Gregor, a shade behind, but gets it up first. This is good for the Scot. Mink Witz, not as tall as Edmonds. That could be a disadvantage, but such tremendous power. But it's still Edmonds in the lead. He's got it on his shoulder and just has to plonk it on top of that wall. Mink Witz carrying it on his chest. Come on, number 4 for Scotland. Yes! Edmonds surely on his way to the final. If he can do number 5 ahead of Mink Witz, he's got it. Mink Witz is miles behind, and Gregor Edmonds is in the final at his very first attempt. Absolutely superb. Mink Witz knows he's beaten. It's Gregor Edmonds for Britain and Scotland in the final.
First time in it and into the final. What does that mean to you, generally?
Well, it's not settled in yet, but it's great. I can say now I'm in the top 10 in the world. That's something that people say that.
I did my best, but I was beaten by a better man. That's it.
A truly immense performance by Gregor Edmonds. Second place there means that he and Magnus Samuelsson, a former champion, will go through to the final of the Metrex Trophy to find the world's strongest man. Well, Gregor, many congratulations on getting to the final, and given your family's history in this event, you must be immensely proud. I tell you what, though, as a Scot, you'll appreciate this. Down in Chinatown, the most amazing bargains. I picked up 3 Rolexes for 10 quid each, but I'll let you have them for 8.
For your sake, John, I hope they're waterproof.